Hey Becky, how's it going?
Hello, technical talking stuff. You,
You go off video, you're breaking up a little bit there. Can you hear me okay?
oh, it's not be me. Uh,
Well, hopefully it gets a little better. Um,
yeah,
I did want to,
there's,
so we're actually gone live, and I was hoping we could look at our listing for a few minutes today, Becky. If that if that could be arranged.
that. Very tired. Yeah,
We can
Uh,
hear you, but it's breaking up and it's very robotic.
yeah, I can't make out what you're saying.
And and we can all hear each other pretty well. So I think it's on your end, Becky.
you're my accent. Okay.
What'd she say?
Exactly.
You want to hop out and hop in again, or restart it?
I think she just took out AirPods.
Can't hear.
You can hear that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Much better. Yep.
Go.
All right.
Well, that's good to know. Okay, yes, David, we could definitely go through and look at your setup.
Excellent.
For everybody else, it's just going to be a Q&A, unless you guys have a specific topic you guys wanted me to talk about. But yeah, we'll just kind of go through people's questions.
Do you
Cool.
want to just start firing away, Becky, or do you want to wait or what?
Yeah, you could. Well, I'm going to go through David's setup with him real quick. He's getting ready to go live, so I'm just going to kind of help him through that, see if there's any red flags. If you want to put any questions into the chat, if not, then when I'm done with David, I'll get to you. Cool. David, do you mind screen sharing? Perfect. Perfect.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that looks good.
We've got a. So calendar is and the pricing is still a bit of a little bit of a mystery to us. We're still trying to figure out what that should be, and we're really just going to focus on the next sort of month or two for now, um, just so we kind of get our feet wet. So um, I wanted to see what you thought of this. This is a strange view. I haven't seen a view like this before. It's like a linear instead of a calendar. Is this
Yeah, you can change that by if you just click let's go. That'll go out of the way, get out of the way there.
gotcha?
And then click on the title of your property. There you go. Okay. So for pricing, I can't really just look at it and determine, okay, that looks good or it doesn't. I don't know unless we compare with your competition. So
So
if you,
if we show you Price Lab, can you see this?
yeah, okay.
All right, so in Price Lab, um, I manually put in our comps.
Okay,
So in the neighborhood data,
perfect.
when I go down, here's where I put in comps. So I got really tight around where we are. You can see here, like everyone's like under 3 kilometers from us,
Okay.
5 and 6 bedroom. Then I hit update data. And then I just hard coded us at 600 for base. But I'm wondering, like, there's some real outliers, like this one at 200 versus
Yeah.
others at like 4 and 6. Do I put more of the 4 and 6 people in? Because I think those are our true comps. And then I'm not seeing that circle through really.
What do you mean circle through?
Because when I ask it to help me choose base price, it's still saying like 350.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so
I
let's
feel like
go.
we've got some that are dragging it down, right? Like these 200, 300 guys.
Right. So there's always going to be the people when you're looking at a particular when you're determining comps off of just radius, you have no idea what they're going to like they're making on an annual basis, right? So you don't know if they're in the top 10% of high revenue properties in the area or they're making 20,000 a year. We don't know. So I do try to do
Yeah.
comps based on people who are being successful so I can create that benchmark for myself. Um,
Yeah, because what I did was is then I also made like a wish list
that's good.
and could see like who were um I switched to traveling or no, sorry, oops. That
Yep,
was
no,
it.
you're right. Switch to
Switch to
traveling and
hosting.
the 3 marks.
And then I had my wish list. And so I was picking people. I can't tell their revenue based off of here, but like I was seeing who's guest favorites, who had high um, reviews, and then sort of where they were around us, and then obviously what their amenities were relative to ours.
Yeah,
So I
yes.
was using that, but again, I don't have the revenue base because you're right, someone could be um,
Yeah. So if you don't have the revenue, like if like I would use AirDNA, right? That's how I find it. Figure out what the revenue is. Price Labs also has that option under the market dashboard that'll talk about revenue. If you don't have that, then a good way to determine if you're this is like very standard, and I don't typically like I wouldn't say this is like an advanced way to determine if a comp is doing well or not, but
mhm.
some people teach like the 30-70 rule, what they call it, or 70-30 rule, to where you look at what that comp's occupancy is for the next few months. And people like to see like 70% occupancy for the next 30 days and then 30% in the after that. Um, to kind of help determine if it's doing well or not. Now, I think that's very, I don't like the idea of the standard rule like that because that is very dependent on the market. Some markets are a lot more last minute than others, so it's not going to look like that. And some markets are going to be more 50% overall for the month. But looking at their occupancy, like their calendar, look at if they have upcoming bookings, that helps determine as well how they're doing. So for right now, if you don't mind, just to kind of let's go review your prices, but I'm gonna do a little bit different
Okay.
because I haven't looked at all of this with you yet. So let's go to Airbnb and go to um, switch to traveling and just search your area.
Yep. So I put in Mesa,
Yep. So let's change
put
it.
in flexibility,
Uh,
flexible.
no, let's go to dates, and then let's
I
look
want to
at
get Christmas right.
what's that?
I want to get Christmas right. If
What is
nothing
Christmas,
else
right?
before the year ends, I want to get a Christmas booking. I want to get it right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at like the 23rd through the 26th. Let's look at that. And then search and like let's put the guest to 0.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so we can accommodate 16, so that's why I was doing like 12, just so we wouldn't miss everything, but put this to 0.
Put it to 0 because we're looking at last minute right now. And a group of 16 or even 12 is they're not going to be booking last minute. We're looking at in reality looking at smaller groups, like much smaller. So if you have a 5 bedroom, you're really competing with 3 bedrooms last minute. And then you're going to get those 5 bedrooms, 16 guest count prices like 3+ months in advance.
Okay, so we're by this Vito's. I don't know if you can see it, but we're by this Vito's Pizza.
Yep, that's okay. We can zoom out quite a bit. And then we're actually going to go to filters and do entire home. And then I would go down to 3 bedroom. So to for bedrooms, do 3. Okay, and then pool. Those are the only filters that I really care about. It's probably on the very top. Oh, right there. It's 1, 2. Okay, and then search.
Indoor fireplace.
Okay, so now zoom out just a little bit.
Okay.
Yep, just a little bit more. Okay, I just try to get like my idea of where we're at here. Okay, so we can zoom back in and then
I have to say,
So
a
we're
lot of the comps in our area are actually booked, so that's why they won't be showing up right now.
right. Yep. So we're really competing with the people that are available.
Yeah.
Uh, that's another reason I don't look at like I look at both. I have like a comp list, but I also have to look at like what's available on Airbnb itself. Okay, zoom in a little bit more. We're
okay, and just for reference for others on the call. So this is Scottsdale. And this is like Phoenix over here. And we're like over in here.
Yep.
So we're like 25 minutes from Phoenix, Scottsdale, and the airport.
Yeah, let's do a proximity of like okay, hold on. Like
Oh, whoops, sorry. You wanted to zoom in some?
yeah, that's good right there. Okay. And then your property, is it live yet?
No, we talked to the Airbnb people today. They said it'll probably be another day.
That you need another day
I
for what?
No, I guess they do.
Oh, Airbnb does?
Mm-hmm. That's what the rep today said.
yeah,
He's like, yeah, I'll go up probably tomorrow.
I don't know why. I mean, we made a few edits, a couple of updates,
I made
I don't know why it's going to take another day to go live. We were live.
So when you press live and you make a listing live, it takes to 24 up to 24 hours for the listing to actually be visible to guests. Because
Yeah, somebody else said that too, so I wasn't surprised when he said probably tomorrow.
yeah, but you definitely have to make it live first in order for that process to start.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's lot. Well, it's
Sorry.
listed.
oh, okay,
He
okay.
said it would just probably be a day or two because I was like, yeah, I don't have the pricing right. He's like, you're fine. It'll be a day or two before they see it anyway.
Yeah, sometimes it can happen right away. Okay, so let's go back to your price slides real quick. Since we're not able to see yours, we can't even tell what your pricing is. So
I
we're
put
gonna,
600 as a base.
yeah, but we need to know those exact dates. So let's go to the calendar and we're gonna estimate what your total pricing is because that's what Airbnb is doing. So what are those same dates? We're looking at the 22nd through the 26th. So price labs, okay, let's look at this. So
Well, Price Labs is saying this because I put 600 in.
right. That's what Airbnb is going to say. If you're pushing price labs to Hospitable and Hospitable is pushing to Airbnb, then its pricing is reflecting off of here.
Yes. But what I'm saying is maybe what I just put in 600, so everybody's going off of what I said, which was 600. Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it should be.
Right. So that's what we're doing right now is we're going to compare. We're going to see what your pricing is compared to others. So we have 699 and 752, 803 and 802.
And 745.
Yeah, but for Airbnb, we're doing that as our checkout day. So they're not actually
Oh, right.
this price is really for the night,
Yeah.
not the day. So check out on that day. So it's just going to be those four.
That's right.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Got to
4.
get in a check-in, check-out mindset.
Yep. Okay, so that's 3,000. How much is your cleaning fee?
250 per visit.
Okay, so plus 250. So we're looking at 232.78, and then there's going to be, and I assume you put the markup on Hospitable. Did you add that to compensate for the service fee?
Yeah. Where do you see that? Where is that supposed to be? Where is that?
That is in Hospitable normally.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do I have Hospitable up?
No.
I don't have it up, but I put whatever you did in your video, Becky.
Okay. So we're gonna assume that you added in the
Is
18.18%.
it 8 or 3%, something like that?
18.
Yeah. Okay, so times
Are we a single fee or a host only when you do that?
everybody's host only, especially if you use a property management system. Come the new year, everybody will be host only.
Okay.
So then we're looking at 32.78. Okay, so for those 4 nights, your total price is likely to be around 3,800. No. Yeah.
Four nights would be 30.
Yeah, 3,800. Okay. So let's go back to Airbnb and see what the guests, right? Because it would be the 4 nights plus the cleaning fee plus the markup. Okay. So if we're looking at 14, 19, 19, last minutes, I normally don't look at the, properties that are directly on top. That doesn't really mean that those properties are my competition. That just means Airbnb is prioritizing some of the lower priced properties. But let's just kind of look at averages. So those are all 14, 19, 19. They're pretty low. Then you can see that it jumps up quite a bit. These are 7 and 8 bedroom properties though. And
And we're 5 bedrooms with 11 beds.
Yep. Okay, and these ones also have heated pools, so that is also a factor here. So there's not a lot of competition right now. So you're pretty much the only 5 bedroom available, sitting at around $3,800 total price. These other 5 bedrooms are sitting at 14 and 19. Considering it's as last minute as it is, those $700-800 nights, I would imagine you might have been able to get like 3+ months ago, but last minute is not likely to happen, especially with like larger groups aren't going to book last minute and people aren't booking premium prices last minute. So let's go back to Price Labs.
Now, what about the Airbnb 20% discount?
Is that on there? Did you apply that?
Oh yeah, that'll go on because that'll happen for our first 3 bookings. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Okay, so that's going to put your price at,
We'll still be in the 36-ish, right?
well, that'd be almost $700 off the price.
Brings it down to close
Closer
to.
to like 31. Okay, so it's obviously hard to compare when everybody's already booked and you can't tell, but the ones that are available that are 5 bedrooms are sitting at 14 and 1900. So you know that that's like your direct competition right now. Whether they're underpricing their property significantly, at the end of the day, if people look at a 5 bedroom at 1900 and they look at a 5 bedroom at 32, they're probably going to pick the 19 if they have similar properties. So, okay. I do think 600 is pretty high on the base price, but it all depends on like your customizations as well. Can we go on the left side and scroll down the customizations? Okay. And then scroll back up and let's see what they recommend on the help me choose my base price. Is it going based off of the comps that you provided?
That part I couldn't tell if it was going off of mine or if it was going off of market. Because it only gave me the option to hit like their market or manual.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I don't know if their market is the new comps that I put in to be the market.
Nope. So their market is going to be everything within all the dots here are the properties that they're pulling off of. And right now it's set to, you have it set to upscale. So even 374 is still considered high upscale price. Click on the property category.
But this is for like ever and ever, right? I'm just trying to get Christmas.
Right, but base price is
Or will they
everything on the calendar just fluctuates around base price.
okay, gotcha.
Like Christmas will be increased based on demand, it'll increase based on seasonality. As it gets more last minute, it'll decrease because of last minute pricing, things like that. So really what you're trying to do on base price is trying to find a balance, like happy medium. It's not quite like an average daily rate, but it's just that price that gets everything balanced on the calendar.
Gotcha.
So typically a property will start off as a brand new property that goes through the program, hosts no more than the average host going live. They're starting out at mid-scale, which is typically around the 50th percentile. And then you're working your way up from there. So in this case, because of the new pricing update, it looks like this put your pricing down to 31 percentile. So we don't want to be that low. We want to be in the 50th percentile. So let's go to custom base price. And then let's put it at like 320. And where does that put us? If we put custom base right here at 320. Okay, that puts at 43, so let's do 330. We want to get right at like the 50th percentile-ish. Okay. So that is typically where you want to be going live. Now this is pulling properties from all across here, from all sorts of different properties, but this is the properties that you currently have, they're already established. So you're really not going to be like you're working your way up to them. You're not quite at them yet. So we need to build the property first, gain the reviews, the super hosts, the credibility, and then you're really in competition with the ones that possibly the competitors that you created.
Okay.
So this is let's confirm this base price. And let's see what that brings the Christmas pricing down to.
Up to, Becky.
Well,
We want it up, Becky.
current nightly rates, we need to bring those down. Then they're a bit out of
Yeah.
competition here.
I think our minimum needs to come down as well, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, so that still puts Christmas in that 400 range. Okay, so let's try to figure out what that is.
Should I save and refresh? Probably should have. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let me pull up your listing. So I think even if it's not live yet, I should be able to look at it. Okay, so we're looking at the 22nd through the 20th.
Make it 250 or something.
Where'd you go there? Okay.
Oops, it's spinning.
The 22nd through the 26th is about 29.14 right now on yours. I can pull up your actual listing and see what your total pricing is. I don't have to sit here and try to do the math by myself. And that's based off of, still that's based off of your $800 price range with the special
Maybe.
offer.
Wait,
Okay.
Let me hit sync now. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but it's gonna take a minute to sync. That's okay. So I'd like your price to be a little bit higher, not even because those are 5 bedrooms that we were looking at the 1900 range. Let's see if this will load. It'll take a few minutes in order to update. That's okay. Okay, so back to customizations here. Let's go. Can we go look at that real quick? Click edit. Yep. Go to, there's a lot of customizations on here that I would typically do, but some important ones for time's sake. Let's go to all customizations.
Oh yeah, I thought I had these in there, but okay.
Okay, and then scroll down demand factor and seasonality factor. Okay, you want to turn that on. And then go to change it from recommended. To moderately conservative. It says conservative. In reality, it's like standard. Almost all markets are going to be, and you're also going to do demand factor, but almost all markets are going to be under the moderately conservative or conservative category. Very, very few markets like Bradenton and Fort Lauderdale are almost the only ones where you can use the recommended options, and it's actually accurate. Okay, same thing, turn this one on, turn it on to moderately conservative, and save.
Now, should we have all of them turned on? I mean, I didn't.
Not all of them. I have a lot of them turned on, but not all of them.
What are the ones should people be doing? Would you recommend for people?
We don't have time to go through them all, but I turn on last minute pricing. Scroll back to the top. Yeah, last minute pricing, far out prices. I turn off booking recency factor. We definitely have orphan nights.
Yeah. Okay.
Minimum prices, or not minimum price, but minimum stay rules, occupancy based adjustments, day of the week pricing. Those are all what I go through. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
But for now, let's save these and see how that adjusts the calendar there. Okay. So the more that we go into adding these settings, the more realistic the numbers become. I don't like using Price Labs, recommendations for everything, but they do have a general idea, right? So I try to take their general idea and then filter through and really refine it from there. And so right now we took, their general idea of what they think an upscale 5-bedroom should make. We decided to custom do it to determine where the 50th percentile of pricing is because we're just going live. We need to build credibility. We've added in some conservative, dynamic, customizations to help us with seasonality and demand factor. Now, if you hover over like any of these prices on the calendar, it'll give you a breakdown of exactly why the price has resulted in what it has. It starts off at base price. It's up for seasonality, up for demand, but because it's last minute, it's back down. And because you don't have bookings yet, it's down a little bit more. Now, Airbnb's 20% is completely different and on top of this on Airbnb, but that's how it resulted in its $390 price. So now it's going to get pushed to hospitable. The price will increase with that markup. It'll go to Airbnb at that increased price, and then the discount will be applied and bring it a little bit back down too. Okay, so this is
Okay.
this is a good start so far without being able to look at having time to really look into the data.
Mhm.
But trying to go off of a little bit of Price Labs help. I would start here and then
Okay,
look into their market dashboard for some more data.
cool. Thank you.
Of course. Okay. I'm going to go through some questions in the chat, and then if we have more time, we'll come back to it. Okay, so Daniel asks, how have bookings been for in December? Peak season was supposed to start this month in Florida, but bookings just haven't come, so I'm curious. I would say for Florida, for the properties that I work with in Florida, December is still kind of considered a slower month other than the holidays themselves. And so I'm still looking at that 60-ish% occupancy range for most of my properties. And then January is kind of an odd month, and then February, March, April. But since you're asking about that, I'll pull up not Price Labs, I'll pull up AirDNA so we can see that together. What market specifically are you?
Fort Lauderdale, Becky.
Fort Lauderdale. Okay. Let's look it up. Fort Lauderdale. Okay, so I just go through some of the settings. Obviously, you should make sure I say this every call. We're just looking at properties with 180 days available or more, 20 more reviews. Got that. And then for bedrooms, what size bedroom do you have?
3 and 4.
Okay, so we're just looking at larger homes. Let's do 3 to 5 bedrooms because seasonality is large home versus small home. Doesn't matter per room. And then we can go into RevPAR since they changed it. We're kind of this is like my idea of a seasonality calendar. So it does say that December, January, well, through the holidays picks up a bit. But let's see what actual expected occupancy is. So 65% for Fort Lauderdale area. So higher than I was seeing in Tallahassee area, which is exciting.
Can you
Okay.
look at the past 2 years too? Change it to, yeah.
The past couple of years. So it's been pretty consistent occupancy in Fort Lauderdale for the past 3 years. December is about 66% occupancy. January sitting at 60, average 63. 64% occupancy. And so obviously like the goal, I like to think that most people in the program we could probably get about 5 to 10% better than the market. So if I saw 65, I'd be shooting for 70%. Where are you kind of ranging right now for December?
So one of my properties hasn't been booked yet this month and doesn't get booked until the 23rd. So
Okay.
and it's booked out the rest of the year, all 8 days of it. And then the other one, I'm probably at like 50% booked for the month right now. I have somebody there, but then I have a good week plus ahead of me here where there's nobody in that property either.
Okay, so one property you starting the 23rd, you have booked for the rest of the year, and then your other property, you have a booking right now, but nobody for the rest of the month.
Actually, no, sorry, I have a week. Um, they check out tomorrow, and then there's a week where I have no bookings, and then I'm booked out the rest of the month.
Okay, so you pretty much have a New Year's booking, but not a Christmas. Do you have a Christmas booking?
Yeah, I have Christmas and New Year's bookings for both properties.
You have these
It's
weird weekdays available then.
it's just really weird that like December went completely dark for one property, like
That
no
is
bookings.
that is strange. Unfortunately, it's kind of like past for us to look into and try to make adjustments, right? So for the days that you have available, okay, do you want to screen share?
Um, I
You don't.
could, but I don't think it's going to be particularly valuable because I'm actually working with a property manager and I don't have access to the Airbnb listings myself.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
Now I do have the property management software, which I a view into it, so I can see pricing in the out months or out days, so I can see that.
I probably have somewhere, I would think I have one of your listings. Um, let's take a look. I just want to see some of your prices for January so we can kind of compare some rates here.
Hmm.
That one is not available. I only have one, and the link is showing that it's not available.
Oh, yeah, that's because the link changed when I moved over to the property manager. So
Gotcha.
they have it, and the listing's different. Um,
Okay, well, let's take a look and we'll just generalize it then. Let's go into Airbnb. Let's look at some rates. And you can kind of look on your end to see if your pricing is somewhere in the ballpark. Fort Lauderdale. The same address though, right?
yeah,
3121.
you got it. That's one of them.
Right. Just want to see the general area. It's above the airport. Oops. You have January pretty empty. Do you know, is it completely empty or do you know which weekends are available?
January at this moment, the only booking I have is 25th through the 29th.
Okay, so we're gonna look at the 9th through the 13th. And this one is what size?
3 bedroom with a pool.
Okay. And then we're right above where's the airport here? Fort Lauderdale Hardware Airport. Is it that one? Yep. Okay, so you're over in, whoops, that box. Okay, so where to go? Over in this area. So we don't want to pull properties from the beach. So we'll look in this general area. That's too far. Okay, stay.
It's a
Okay.
little concerning how my property's not even popping up.
Oh, we can see a couple of pages. We could try to figure out where it's
Oh,
at.
there it is. Sorry,
Where?
scroll down.
Which one?
Uh, right there, your home in Fort Lauderdale. Yep, you got
This is your property?
sorry, up the one with the two floaties. Yeah, that one.
Okay. I was like, I have never seen a property that looks like this come through the program. Not that it's like, not that, yeah. That just takes a lot of money for that design. Like more than most people do for arbitrage. Okay, so that's good that we found this. I just want to save this somewhere. Okay. How long has this property been live? Since the
Since
summer?
Yeah, I mean the property manager took it over in June, but their bookings I don't think really started up until July.
Okay.
So I had like 9 reviews on my prior listing before we switched over.
But you're getting really good consistent reviews. They seem to be getting a lot of reviews for the property each month, so that's good. Um, that's not concerning. So then let's go back. Let's look at prices. This one was yours. So we're sitting at, for that weekend specifically, 901. So let's look at prices. We have also 3 bedrooms. Do you have a heated pool?
It is not.
Okay. So you have 715, 780, 8, 640, 7, 8. Okay, so out of these first, what is this? 9 properties, you're kind of on the higher end. Well, most of these are between 800. There's a couple, there's that one other 970 that's a little bit higher than you. And then it jumps up to this next level. These are 4 bedrooms though. There's some 3 bedrooms. Also, these are not booked, so it does not mean that their pricing is fantastic. Just something to consider. 8. These 4 or 5 bedrooms are getting into that $1,000 plus. Okay. So your pricing it doesn't look way off to me. If you've been getting bookings, let's see. Is this the one who had a really shy December?
No, this December wasn't terrible. You can see the guest checking. Well, actually, it shows the 15th as available. That's odd because I have a guest in there right now.
Well,
Um,
it's because they're checking out today, right?
uh, no, they check out tomorrow actually.
Oh, well, I don't know then.
Yeah, they've been in. They're a Virgo listing, but I mean that shouldn't make a difference. It's all hooked up from a
Yeah,
PMS perspective, so I don't know why.
I don't either. They are hooked up, so it shouldn't matter. Okay. It's a little bit high. Like, I mean, it's on the higher end of the properties we're looking at for this specific weekend. Let's look at a different weekend. If it's been consistently getting booked, high pricing is not a bad thing as long as it's
Right. Well, they're
getting
in the first
up.
listing. Yeah.
Yep. Now it's sitting up first for this weekend. We're sitting at 1,050, 900, 1,000. These are also 4 bedrooms, heated pool, private pool. The pricing is not like throwing red flags to me. It doesn't look like it's like way off by any means. I would say it looks like it's more in that like 75th percentile of pricing, which, a property that's more like the more and more established it is, the more it can be that. Okay. So what are we expecting when we looked at AirDNA for Anne? Now we can look at lead time. We go back and look at lead time, see what you have booked so far for January, and then if that's in line with lead time. So for January, it looks like you just have the 3 days at the bottom of the month that you're only booking.
Yeah, and another one that checks out on the second.
Okay. So
Another,
right now,
oh, this one's a booking.com. That was something else that's weird. Like my Airbnb listings, bookings through these guys for this property just fell through the floor, but booking.com went through the roof. It was really weird how I had one booking that was like 3 weeks long on booking.com,
Yeah.
and they gave me a good review. And then my BDC bookings just kept on coming. Like it was weird. I went a month without an Airbnb reservation, but booking.com picked up all the slack. And I, I don't, that was to me just baffling because I didn't have barely any BDC traffic before that. And then all of a sudden it was like bam all over the place. Um, so I was like wondering, maybe does Airbnb penalize the listing a bit because it's getting booked through other OTAs? I don't know if that's part of the algorithm or not.
Yeah, so it's not specifically. It has no idea that it's getting booked through other OTAs. The only thing that it notices is if you where your occupancy is compared to the market. So if you're getting a bunch of bookings on the other OTAs and Airbnb is then falling below market occupancy, because they're not considering those block stays as bookings, only their bookings. So let's say if you only got 20% on Airbnb, reality you got 70%, Airbnb says 20%, and they're like, oh, well, the rest of the market has 50%, you're at 20%, you're falling below. Guests must not like your property, or they're not eager to book your property, is kind of how their algorithm works. Uh,
Mm.
so it's like it's a frustrating game because it's like everybody's goal to get away from Airbnb the more and more controlling they're getting. So to hear that you're getting so many booking.com bookings is, I love that. Like that sounds fantastic. It just has to be like a happy medium between the two. And I think as you go into, even a higher season, then you'll start to see those Airbnb bookings even more. I think it's okay. It just has to be a balance game there.
Yeah, the weird thing is that through January 2nd, going back to November 2nd, I have one night of Airbnb bookings. Everything else is BDC and Verbo.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested to look at their pricing and stuff or what they're doing differently on there.
Yeah.
Because in theory, their pricing, like the payout on it should equal out to be about the same because they should still be marked up. And so at the end of the day, it should be about the same, but for
Yeah,
now.
I'm thinking maybe just that first big booking and a positive review from that first one jumped it up the algorithm. So then people were finding it more on booking. But as a result, I think my Airbnb bookings have fallen through the floor because I mean, the month of November, I had, gosh, I'm looking at the occupancy here. I mean, there were, like I said, there was only 2 days of Airbnb in the month of November, and I was probably at 80% booked, 80% occupancy, and the rest of it was all booking. So that's just weird. Now, but
It'll ebb and flow.
say again.
It'll ebb and flow. I wouldn't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put, I wouldn't be too concerned yet. I wouldn't be too good. I don't know.
Well, the other property is my big concern. That's the one that hasn't had a booking yet in the month of December.
Okay.
And that one, last guest checked out November 29th, and I don't have a reservation until December 23rd.
Okay. Um, so for this property, as of right now, for January, we're about 45 days out, which is about 6 to 7 days booked, is what expected occupancy is currently. We did see that you had those few days booked at the end of the month. I wouldn't say your property is too far behind. If you're sitting at 4 nights booked currently, you're like, again, we saw it in your pricing, you're just a little bit higher than I would think that you could be, but you're getting the bookings. Um, you're only like a day behind in the actual days that you're booked. So I'm not seeing anything concerning there. If this is working for them, then it looks good. As long as like they can keep this momentum, that's good. Do you want to try? Hold on. Let me answer this question from Darsh real quick, and then we'll go and look at your other property.
Sure.
Okay. So Darsh asks, what's the best way to apply a length of stay discount? How to apply weekly and monthly discounts between Price Labs and Airbnb? and the different platforms, what's the quickest way to look for a competitor cleaning fee? Okay, so when it comes to length of stay discounts, that is going to be if you're using Hospitable, you can now apply length of stay discounts directly from Hospitable. Doesn't matter if you do them in Hospitable or Airbnb. The rule only applies to Airbnb either way. Just whatever's more convenient. But click on the days that you want to apply it to, and then go to create rule set. And then you can go to, you name the rule and go to length of stay discount, and you can determine like if they stay 4 days, they can get a 20% discount, 3 days, 15, something like that. Try to incentivize them to book more days. And then
You
for
said
what? Sorry.
you said it will be under the custom promotions, or?
Nope, you gotta click the days itself. So custom promotions, they have the option under pricing settings. For length of stay discounts, you click on the days that you want to apply it to. And then when it pops up the options on the right, it'll have rule set. Depending on what you're in, it'll say create rule set or just rule set.
So that's what I thought. I was trying to do that in Airbnb itself, and it's not.
Okay, so if you're in
Maybe
Airbnb
I'm looking at
itself,
something
make sure
else.
that you're on the multi-calendar. So click calendar, and that first multi-calendar it brings you up to.
Uh-huh.
You have to do it from there, from the multi-calendar option, and then
Let's see. Okay.
to bring it up. They moved it last few months.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, and then weekly and monthly discounts. Unfortunately, we're not able to apply them into price labs. At least I'm not on my accounts. I have seen it very rare times where Price Labs offers monthly and weekly discount options under customizations. For whatever reason, on any account I've set up, I've never seen it since then. So you're mostly going to apply this within nowadays. I say this lightly because Hospitable's new features for applying all these rules in Hospitable is so new that I'm not super confident in its ability to push them through. So normally we would just add them directly into the OTA itself. So into Airbnb, under price settings, it'll have an option for weekly and monthly discount. And then you're gonna compare those rates just like you would any rates. Go onto the main Airbnb travel side, see what your rates are compared to theirs. And then the quickest way to look for competitors' cleaning fee. Unfortunately, as of 2025, that is not an option anymore. We're not able to see anybody's cleaning fee. Only thing that matters is total price. In reality, it doesn't matter if you put like, it doesn't really matter if you even have a cleaning fee anymore, because at the end of the day, when you get paid out, it doesn't separate it. It doesn't go to anybody specific. Nobody can see it. It's just a way for you to separate the number in your own tracking system.
Is that across all the OTAs, Becky, or just Airbnb?
I believe it's all OTAs now have gone total price. Yeah. So I still put the cleaning fee that I am being charged in there. And then I do that because it helps me understand what my nightly rate actually is. Versus if I were to put my cleaning fee just into my nightly rate, then I don't know. I guess that's just personal preference. In my mind, that like alters the idea of what your nightly rate actually is.
So I see that the customers won't be able to see it, but does the Airbnb algorithm, does that take that into account, the cleaning fee at all, or
No,
no?
doesn't matter. I have not seen or heard anything that like if you were to put nothing in your cleaning fee that it helps you at all. What I've noticed in these last few months in the algorithm is just how important guest experience is. Has been the biggest, like the algorithm has really shifted into guest experience. So if the price matches the value of the property, then that's all they care about.
Got it. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so your other property, Daniel, is a 4 bedroom.
4 bedroom, yep. And it's a little bit further north. It's in off Pompano Beach. Uh,
Okay.
you want the exact address, make it easier on you?
Yeah, unless you can like give me an area. Like, is it near this?
It's right by Chase Stadium where, yep, there you go. That's it.
Okay, is it up in this area?
Yep.
Air Village? Okay.
It's in Palm Air Village East. Yes.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. So let's try. This is the one that was really empty for December. So let's look at January. It's going to have the same expectations when it comes to lead time and seasonality. Just 1 bedroom bigger doesn't matter.
It's that, go down and you got the listing right there. Keep going down. Yep. It's the third one, the one your cursor's on right now. Yep.
Okay, so it's not available for these exact dates. So let's take a look at when it is available. Okay, so for January, it has a 3 night minimum for January already. So I wonder if that was 3 night minimums in like Bradenton, and it is heavy vacation markets, Bradenton, Fort Lauderdale, like Hawaii kind of things. Um, Typically anything outside of 30 days, I'll put a 3 night minimum because most people are like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days is the typical length of stay. But within 30 days, I try to do 2 night minimum. So they have a 3 night minimum. And if you were not getting bookings, then I would really reduce that. If you were consistently getting last minute 3 night stays, I would say this is justified. But if you're not, then it needs to change. So let's look at the rates. This is from the 9th to the 12th. 9th to the 12th. Okay, you're sitting at 1280. We have 13, 190. Oh, wait, these are, yeah, all 4 bedrooms. 14, 14, 14. What's yours? 1280. Okay. Okay, so pricing seems to definitely be fair. I don't see it. It doesn't look like a red flag. It's not way out of price range. You're on almost the lower end. If we were to take all these that are in similar, like these, it's all the ones from here up, it looks like you're in kind of like the 40th percentile or so of pricing, right? If we were to, whatever, add all these up, divide them out, I think we'd be around the 40th percentile or so. So again, your
Yep.
pricing, like, it's not red flags. It doesn't look bad to me.
And right now I have 2 nights booked in the month of January.
Okay, so it's a little bit behind. But anyway, you have your title's so nice because they're all major things. Heated pool, I would say, is a really, really big thing. People want that, and but people also want this. I'd probably put heated pool at the front if it were my property.
I'm willing to try anything at this point. What's interesting to me is that your hero image is different than my hero image on the listing.
Huh?
Yeah.
This, like this picture right here?
Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing the World Cup one is supposed to be the hero image um, because it's got a few smaller thumbnails in there, and like that's the one that's supposed to be heroed, and it shows up in my listings that I'm viewing in my computer as that being the hero image, but not on either listing when you did it, which is really strange to me.
That
So
is very confusing.
yeah, I don't get that.
Can't say that I have come across that. Okay, that's not very helpful.
So the ratings have all been good.
Yep. Ratings look good. You're getting consistent ratings. July, August. Yep. A lot of reviews in October and November, so that's really good. So if December was really empty, I'm not seeing anything like red flags as of January. Let's look at some other dates. My thought, okay, let me process this thought first. Let me see. Okay, so you have a 2-night minimum at least last minute. So you have a 3-night minimum immediately, even for this coming weekend. That means you're not visible to anybody looking at a 2-night. And
Mm,
majority of people are booking 2-night stays.
okay.
So I think that would be a big hindrance for last minute bookings because I'm not seeing anything else that's like super standout.
Okay.
So that would be if I were trying to go into this listing myself and try to like build it back up, that would be my first thing that I test.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me see if I can find. Price Labs has a really good place that tells you based on the last 30 days how many bookings are coming and how long those stays are. Let me see if I can pull that up. I don't have this option. Let's see.
Becky, across everybody that you work with, I mean, I know it's different because it's all based on the market, but I'm just wondering if December people have hit roadblocks or bookings have fallen off a cliff or, I mean, obviously in the summer, when summer's your peak season, you expect that. Slow season is what the slow season is. But here I am going into, 60% occupancy or higher territory, and I got nothing.
Yeah. I don't think so. I haven't noticed that with my own properties that I manage. I've noticed an increase in cancellations. That's been
Mhm.
really frustrating, which has left some of the properties I work with a little lower occupancy than I'd like. Uh,
And what
so
about cancellation policy? Like, what is your cancellation policy right now? I'm wondering if maybe that.
yeah, I'm a very big supporter of flexible cancellation policy. I think, especially in their first 3 to 6 months live, you have to be as flexible as possible with the guest. Airbnb likes guest friendly. And then after that, depending on like if your property can hold momentum without the algorithm, then you can do kind of whatever you want. You can go to a little bit more firm or moderate policy. But if you're still relying on the algorithm a lot, then I keep it at flexible and I do my own at flexible. Now, something I heard today that I'm really excited about is starting in 2026, they're starting to implement this now, but not if you're using a property management system. 2026, they're going to be redoing the cancellation policy that you were able to create. How do I say this? Like for big events, you're able to determine certain cancellation policies for just certain events.
Oh, nice. World
Yeah.
Cup. World
Yep.
Cup.
Yep. That's exactly why they're doing it. That's from what I heard, that's exactly why they're doing it, is because these big events. And I think that's super exciting because there was a lot of Christmas cancellations this year. I think they're realizing that people are starting to play the last minute game. They book things 6 months in advance, realize it's cheaper last minute, rebook, kind of things like that. So that should be, I'm very excited for that. That should be a game
Mhm.
changer.
And you said that's only through Airbnb?
Yes. But the other sites tend to quickly catch on to it as well after Airbnb.
Okay. I'll have to- Yeah, and that's not until 2026, I imagine early in the year.
I'm not 100% sure. I just found out about this today when I was reading through fees.
Okay. That's very, very helpful because I
Yep.
was I was worried about that, getting obviously World Cup is very keen for me because I got 7 games being played in Miami, which for one property it's 6 miles away from the stadium. So we're doing extra things and trying to really use that as a momentum builder. But I was worried about the cancellation policy, right? Because I want to lock those people in, but I also don't want to lock somebody in who's like middle of March, right? So having flexible cancellation policies for events would be awesome.
Yes, yes, 100%. I think what's going to be a game changer for a lot of us. Big hosts feel a lot more protected than they've been. Graduations, football games, holidays, it's going to be game changer.
Yeah,
But
concerts
I
also.
For this property that you feel like that is struggling a little bit more, I would say open up those in the next 30 days, open up 2 night minimums on the weekends. And I think that's going to help a lot. I think that would have helped December a lot. Because just keep in mind, if you have a 3 night minimum, if 70% of people are looking at 2 nighters, then nobody can even see your property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we could always worry about trying to upsell them later on to the additional night.
Yeah, you can always do that, which is unfortunately it's manually still, but I do that a lot where I'll add a 2 night minimum and then I'll do a length of stay discount like to try to incentivize them to stay an extra night for 3 nights.
Yeah. And I have to review my cancellation policy too, because I'm not flexible, especially on that one, which only launched in July.
Yeah.
So it's
And
still within that process.
everyone has their own strategy. I'm just a bit more aggressive and try to play the algorithm, and maybe not everybody's like that. So
Yep.
but
Okay. Well, thanks for your help.
the opinions in this conversation, 3 night minimum. Like the data is back about that, that should be available.
Becky, can I request the topic for a future
Yes,
session?
please.
I'm curious about, and if it was covered recently, my bad. I've been kind of absent for a lot of these coaching calls recently, but about direct booking, uh,
Oh,
best, best practices and how to do it, and all that good stuff, because it's something, especially as we're talking here about Airbnb, kind of changing the game. If their algorithm decides they don't like you because booking.com took over your calendar for a month, well, we got to be able to fight back, and the direct booking site is kind of the best way to do that. And it's not obviously just about having a website, right? It's how do you promote that website and everything. And now with Airbnb making it more and more difficult to get contact details for your guests also, it's you got to set up like StayFi and stuff like that, so you can get email addresses on all your guests, and I'm in the process of doing that so that I can market, for people to come back. But then there's also, how do you reach people who just have never even heard of you, right? So a whole like social media marketing, cap coaching session might be an awesome thing to do. I don't know who's doing it really, really well amongst the community, but somebody certainly is, I would imagine.
Yeah, I will definitely. I love when people give me topics. I've been doing a lot of Q&A because, like, you know, sometimes topics aren't relevant to most people who come to the call. So I'm happy to do that. Probably look into that in more January time, since next week's probably going to be pretty slow with the holiday, and then I'll do some searching for somebody who is probably a bit more skilled in that area than I would be.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
And
see if I
then
can get this person on.
and not relevant to everybody, but I don't know if there's enough people relevant where it would be interesting, but World Cup, or just events in general, right?
True.
How do you capitalize on that to the maximum impact?
True. Good ideas. Cool. I'll look into that. Thank you.
You got it, Becky. It's good to see you again, but no headband.
Yeah, no headband anymore. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Adios. Thank you.
Bye.